Hello everybody. Today is celebrated in many parts of the world as the birthday of the Buddha. His life story began with him being a rich prince who lived in a palace with everything that he could possibly need. He was really pampered. His father didn't want him to leave the palace grounds because he wanted him only to experience what was good and pleasant and delightful in life. But the day came when the Buddha was 19, when he decided this wasn't very satisfying. He left the palace grounds, and the story goes, he first of all met an old man, and then he met a sick person, and then finally he witnessed a corpse being carried to be cremated. And the point of this story is to help us to understand why the Buddha decided that the problem with life was that we got too caught up, too attached to things, and we needed to let go. Because what the Buddha learnt from meeting these three people after his pampered life was that all that he had in the palace grounds, all that he'd enjoyed, was purely transient. It was not going to last. It was not something to which he should commit himself, because it had only a limited value. In other words, he should let go of attachment to things. He then, as the story goes, met a fourth person who helped him to see what he should then do, having let go of his attachments, and showed him the way to achieve what eventually, in the Buddhist way of thinking, became known as nirvana, that sense of being detached from all desires and all suffering that takes you into a different plane of existence. I am not sure that letting go of attachment to things, which I think is probably a good thing, necessarily leads to letting go of all desires and all feelings and all passion. I may have misunderstood what Buddhist thinking is saying, but for me, I think I want to embrace feelings. I want to embrace passion. I want to embrace enthusiasms. I want to embrace desire. These are things which make life fascinating and give life energy. But does that also mean embracing suffering? Well, I think it does mean accepting suffering. What I think we can learn from the Buddhist way of thinking about suffering is that if we're going through a really hard time, whether it's physical, mental, or any other kind of struggle, it can be so overwhelming that it begins to feel as though that is all that there is. And I think what we need to try and do, if we're going through a period like that, is to recognize that that is not all that there is. That I am not just the suffering that I'm going through. I am deeper than that. I am more than that. And in that sense, to let go of it. You can't deny its existence because you're going through its pain, but you can let go of its hold on you and be aware that it's not all that there is, that you have a being which is over and above and beyond anything that suffering can do to you. That is a part of you which we need to celebrate and embrace and claim when we're going through really hard times.